This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. I am with Bo, and it's just going to be the two of us because StatGuy is still out of town, and Jay is
Houston's not shown up, kind of like their baseball team.
Exactly. Well, they showed up yesterday because it seems like that Seattle. What Seattle likes to do is win the. Let's go ahead and win the series, and then let's get shut out in Game 3.
Yeah, pretty much. Although they went 3 of 4. So they did at least show out in that way. But yeah, that fourth game, they're just like, you know what? We're bored. We're going home.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens because literally it was, what was it, 4-0? But I remember that happening with Game 3 of the Yankees series as well. Just like to get shut out there, and you guys get shut out a lot, actually.
Well, it's because our bats aren't very good. It's a good thing the pitching's been on point because the bats have not shown up.
Hey, and no offense, Sherry, but that's a great way on not getting your statement shown on the screen. Dallas sucks, and we all know it. Yeah, Jay's avoiding the embarrassment. He was sick to his stomach about the Astros play.
Well, and as he should be. And Sherry, since you're tuned in, I am not going to end up down in Puerto Vallarta for Thanksgiving. I thought I was, but this year's not the year.
Bummer. Puerto Vallarta is not a bad spot to be at, for any amount of time.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's why I moved there for a while.
So, but as we kind of expected, the other Dallas team, the Mavericks, did make it. I didn't think there was any doubt in anybody's mind that they were going to go ahead and finish this off in Game 5. It was kind of as expected.
It was an exclamation point. Like, they came in and beat them up early. And, I mean, really, the Timberwolves were never really in that game.
Yeah, I wonder if that has to do with the fact that they have never been in that position, or if it was more about just that they were outmatched. Like, some of this, I kind of feel like just by the way that they took care of Denver, that the moment started to get a little too big for them.
Yeah, I think soon as they fell behind, I think that's where not having been there before really shows, right? Is then it becomes a mental game of, we're almost going to try too hard to try and overcome what's going on rather than just focusing on the game they're in.
Right. Yeah. And that, you can't win 3 games or, 4 games with 1 win.
Exactly.
And that's, I can absolutely see where that came from, but hey, Dallas goes back there and it's been like 7 seasons since Dirk?
Was it that recent? I thought it was longer ago than that.
Might have been. Let's have it Googled. When was the last time?
Yeah, where the hell is StatGuy when we need him?
The Mavs went to the finals. Here we go.
Find us some stats, man.
When was the last time the Mavs? 2011.
Yeah,
2011.
That seems right.
So 13 years ago.
Yeah, that feels more accurate.
So, but
so I got the question for you here is so now they're taking on Boston, right? And Boston dispatched teams pretty easily, but everyone that Boston went up against ended up with their main guy getting hurt. So is Boston that good, or do they need Luka to get hurt?
Well, I'm sure they need Luka to get hurt. So the one thing that I could say about this Boston team is that although they have been, extremely good, especially in these playoffs, and that they've had the third man step up, like that's
Yes.
really what it's come down to. That they have had two really good players, and then the third man has stepped up. So ultimately, I think that they still need that type of play to be able to win this series.
Yep.
That being said, they have shown that they have not been able to deal with the moment either. That
True.
Boston has come up small lately. Lately, I mean, obviously they've made it to these spots, but have not won. Have not been able to close the deal. Now I know that as of 2 weeks ago, or even 3 weeks ago, they were the like 1-2 favorite just
Yes.
to win the NBA Finals. When it came down to the last four teams, they were like a 1-2. So,
Yep.
which gives you, like that's okay. That's about as sure of a thing as you could get when it comes to four teams.
Yep.
And so, I have to imagine that the odds on Dallas winning this series would be pretty big.
I actually think they do, based on what we've seen out of Boston and what we've seen out of the Mavs. If they can stay healthy, I think they got it. It's it's every time you see Luka like hobble or grab his ankle or anything, that's where you're like, well, if he gets hurt, they don't win.
Right.
No question. But
Well,
both teams full strength, I think, is going to be a battle.
I agree. I will tell you that, similar to the Rangers, who we'll get to in a few minutes,
Yep.
that the number to keep Boston 2 is 109, like 110. That's the number. If you can keep them under 110 points, you're going to win those games. And
How
that's
ridiculous is that, by the way? That
I-
110 is the beatable number. Because when you think of basketball, I always think of that 90s era where 110 was an all-star game. And if someone hit 110, it's because the other team didn't show up. So when it's if you can hold them to only 110, just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. So and I know that it does sound ridiculous, but right now I think they're averaging. I think they averaged 118 in the regular season,
Yeah.
and it's been somewhere in the neighborhood of like 123 in the playoffs. So that's why I'm saying 110 is that number.
Oh no, you're right. It just sounds dumb.
Yeah, like under 100 might sound better,
For sure.
like in terms of a defensive game, but this is not how this is played anymore.
Not
You
at
know
all.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So like 30 of the shots that you're taking are for 3 points each. So out of the 70 shots that you take a game.
And like 20% of those are from the logo. It's easy to get back on defense if you don't cross the middle.
Yeah, just about. But like it says, if you get in their face, that's the one thing that you got to do. You got to play defense on Boston. If you get up in their face and you start challenging shots, they will not make as much. You want them shooting somewhere around 30%. That's again another number to go for. Under 33%. That's where you need it. You can't have them shooting 35, 40%. 35, 40%, they win.
No doubt.
So,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm saying somewhere in that 30 to 33 range. Once they start making a third of their shots, yeah, you're going to be in trouble. So, and don't put them on a foul line. Can't put them on the foul line. I mean, that was the one thing I felt like the Pacers were getting, something like 6 to 8 foul shots a game, where Boston was getting somewhere around 25 to 30.
Yeah.
So you can't have that type of disparity at the line.
Well, and I keep waiting for that game where Tatum just doesn't show up, right? Because that's something we have seen out of him in the past. And this seems like that series that could very well happen. Instead of putting up, 25 to 30 points, something like that, he's out there and ends up with like 18. That's a game that they lose.
Well, no, that could be a game that they lose. I think that that's happened already twice in this playoffs. And that's where this third guy shows up that actually has been helping them.
So it has happened in the series. It just, in years past, it's been just kind of how the playoffs have been, right? Like it's been more consistent more often than not. He was having that kind of game, right? Whereas this time he's had a couple here and there. If you have a bad game, you can overcome that. If you have a string of bad games, that's where, you're probably going home. So that's kind of where I'm watching the Boston side is I think Tatum could really be that key. If he has a bad game, obviously they have had people step up, but that's a game that they can definitely lose if he has an off night.
Well, and if they have 4 off nights, they lose the championship again.
True.
So I don't know that they are really built that way. I think the one thing I could say is that they are pretty well coached as well.
Yes.
And he understands how to use his bench properly. So if one of the guys is having an issue and is not putting the the ball in the basket, as they would say, then ultimately he's going to pull him out and put somebody else in, and just make this guy kind of watch the game to see if he can get the flow that way before he puts him back in again. So, I mean, and I've seen that a couple of times where you're coming out and you're just starting off slow and soft and he pulls them early, gets somebody else in there just so that they can get the flow of the game right. And then they go back out there and they're able to do better. So, that's something that I wish that the Sixers were able to do more of, but unfortunately, they just didn't have the personnel.
Yeah.
But
next year's a new year.
That's exactly correct. On the other side of things, on the ice, Game 5 up in New York.
Yep.
I tell you, the Rangers got to score 3 goals. They got to score 3 goals. They didn't score 3 goals.
They had some moments where it looked like they might tie it up right there close to the end, but couldn't.
Well, you can't. It's going to be rare for you to score 2 goals in the last minute of the game. Now, not that it hasn't been done before, because the Bruins did it, I think, one time, but that might have been against Toronto. So Toronto loves to poop the bed,
blow leads. Yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately it was, they wound up they're a 2-1 lead, and then they said they wound up getting the empty net. They pulled the goalie again. They wind up getting one back with 50 seconds left, and they can shoot all you want. But I tell you, Bobrovsky, you needed to score 3 goals before 59 minutes, not at the not in the 59th minute.
Yep.
So. And I've been saying this all series long. You got to score 3 goals. Interestingly enough, this game ended 3-2.
Yep.
So, Rangers got their work cut out for them.
They do. I still kind of think it goes 7 though.
It could very well. I mean, they have some good players over there. It's a matter on. From what I remember, Shesterkin is not good, or not his best, in a win or go home situation.
Oh, okay.
I think that he gets a little too nervous and probably overthinks a little bit. I kind of feel that way. I don't think that he's had many of those games, but that they've been losses. So. That's going to play a big part here. The offense, I mean, they need to have another 5-4 game if they're going to win that game. But
no, that's fair.
Because you got to have. Let me see how many shots on goal. I mean, still, you're getting outshot by Florida 37-27. You know what I mean? And that's also in the process of you having the firing squad trying to get one past him in the last 2 minutes of the game. So you got to
Yep.
do better. You got to do more shots.
Yep.
But
no, it was good. So I ended up watching these last night. Needed to get out of my house, so hit Wild Wings. We're still looking for Wild Wings to sponsor this show. Come on, let's do this.
Not sure what you're waiting on there, Wild Wings.
Right? Like, pull the trigger. We're right here. Every day, in fact.
Yeah. And we keep showing your commercial for free. So if pretty soon we're going to be switching commercials.
That's
and
right.
then we're going to be we're going to find somebody else. So
That's right.
you can make it happen or we could go somewhere else. The choice is up to you.
There's not really a choice. Just sponsor the show.
Exactly. So, but that being said, so you were out there yesterday. You got to see both of these games. It was
Yeah. They had it opposing big screens, so it was got to watch both of those, have some wings and a beer, and get some show prep done. So it was one of those trips where I didn't call anybody, didn't let anybody know I was going. I'm just gonna sit here, have a beer, background noise of a sports bar and the screens, and that was it. It was nice.
But you did have another team in Seattle that did win yesterday. The Storm defeated Caitlin Clark's Fever.
Yep.
By 15 points. Caitlin scored 20, but they were just no match to the Seattle Storm.
It's funny. After a little bit of a bumpy start, the Storm have really started to come on.
Would they start off 0-3 and then won 5 straight? Something close to that?
Yeah, I think they went 1-3. But and then won their last 4? Something like that?
Yeah.
So,
how many teams are in the WNBA? In fact, you know what? I'm just going to look at the standings. 12. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, the Storm is in third place, just by percentage points right now, because there's some teams that have played 8 games, some teams that have played 5.
6. Yeah, Minnesota has 6.
Oh, yeah, Las Vegas only has 5. Yeah, Dallas has 5.
Interesting.
So, yeah,
and then Indiana has 9. So there is no consistency at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I got to imagine that may have been done specifically to try to get Caitlin Clark out in the front of this.
Oh, of course. But, I mean, still, seems like you'd have other teams playing games. I mean, it's not like they're all on network TV anyway, right? Like, some of them are broadcast on channels that you have to have a subscription for. For an organization that talks about trying to grow their sport, they sure make it hard to watch.
Yes, as we talked about that before.
Absolutely.
As I'm looking at some of the statistics per game, the leaders of the league, and we were talking about, what was it? Brink's a rookie.
Yeah.
Has got 2.7 blocks per game. So I mean that's actually pretty good. And actually Caitlin is 4th in assists. Yeah, with 6.6 per game. I'm just trying to see where the
rookies are.
Yeah, where they're at, because obviously what happened before Caitlin Clark really doesn't matter to me, because I never cared before. Not that I even really care now, but now that I don't care, I just figured I'd be doing everything I can to try to support the whole movement. Since the View's not going to do it, it's going to be me that does it.
That's right. Yep, the View's hot trash. So come to Coast for WNBA.
I'll tell you another thing that Caitlin Clark happens to be leading in right now is turnovers per game.
She has had quite a few turnovers, especially in the first couple games.
Yeah, by 1.5. She's got 5.7 turnovers per game. Second place has only got 4.2. So,
Yeah, it makes sense though. When you are the best player on the team, you're the main target, the ball is always flowing through you. The opportunity for turnovers goes way up.
I agree. So, I mean, again, like you said, she's on a bad team.
And she's a rookie. I mean,
Yeah.
like you're not going to play your best ball the first year typically.
It
Or
can
if you
only get
do,
better from here.
yeah, I was going to say if you do, it just means that the rest of your career is a monstrous disappointment.
Right. Or it better not be. So,
yeah.
But, all right. So, there you had it. I'm trying to see if there was anything spectacular happening here in the news where anybody else is. Everybody was doing the OTAs, and there were some notable people missing.
Yeah, most of them are in contract conversations, so it's not really a huge shock that some of these people missed. You did have some coaches kind of take shots at these guys that are missing. One of them was McCarthy, right?
Yep. Right on to his best defensive player who is dying to get out at this point. He does not, he's just I think that he's going to the Eagles. I think he likes to be in
That would be
Philadelphia.
hilarious.
I think he wants to be in Philadelphia. You see him at Sixers games all the time. He's friends with a lot of the players over there. He's been very critical of the Cowboys in terms of the way that they've drafted in comparison to the way that the Eagles have drafted. So I suspect that he might be wearing Eagle green very soon.
I mean, that would obviously be huge for you guys.
I wonder, like I think it might be 2 years away because obviously I think he's in the final year of his contract.
He is. Well, so that's where this gets interesting, right? Is you have him, you have CD, you have Dak. They're all in the last years of their contracts. Obviously, there's some lower end guys that also are. In fact, it's in their entire quarterback room. But you look at it as, do they just start tearing it down now rather than throwing contracts at these guys? I mean, do they try and make some trades? Because obviously if they don't sign them, they play them through this year, you get nothing for them. They just walk. But do you try and trade them and just accept the fact that this team isn't going to be good, whether they're on the rosters or not?
Well, I think that's why I think it's going to be a couple years before we see Parsons because Parsons gets franchised. He gets the franchise tag thrown.
Yeah, probably.
So out of all the guys that are on I wouldn't do it to Dak. I wouldn't do it to anybody else. It's going to be him. So I would suspect that he's going to get that if he doesn't sign, and that's going to keep him out another year from being able to go somewhere else. Man, they may even do it 2 years.
You think he's talking bad about the Cowboys now? Don't pay him and franchise him? Ooh, man, talk about a disgruntled employee.
Right. Be like, ow. Yeah, like, ow.
Yeah.
What hurts? I don't know. It just hurts. So, yeah, I think that's more likely to occur. We'll see. You know what I mean? Obviously, this is all just thinking about it right now. He didn't go to the OTAs. And I got to imagine that had to do with the fact that, hey, you're not going to pay me to go to the OTAs. I ain't going. So.
Yeah. Nope. I'm with you. Sorry. Had a string of spam rolling across my phone. I was trying to see who the Kraken coach is here because I didn't see that they hired a new one.
Oh, really? And it doesn't say. The Kraken hired a coach. We'll tell you later. In other major news, the Washington Commanders are going to remain the Washington Commanders. The team name will not be changing anytime soon, said Marjorie Harris, who is
I mean, if you were a fan of that team, you'd have to be frustrated if they were going to change it again. I mean, every other year you have to buy new jerseys. Is that the goal? I mean,
they say that there's an indigenous group that's suing them to rename them the Redskins. I got to imagine that ship has sailed. And
they're not going back to it.
No chance.
There'd be way too much pushback. I mean, I've heard of the lawsuit, and of course, it's because the image is of an actual person, right? So they wanted it back, and so I mean, fair enough. But the fact that there was so much, hoopla about having the name changed, and now it's been changed multiple times, there's zero chance that it goes back to what it was.
I agree. And this is another one that kind of gets me here.
Dan Bilsma.
Isaiah Buggs has got 2 counts of animal cruelty.
Oh yeah, I did see that. What are we doing?
I'm trying to figure out what made it. They were put in a screened-in porch with no food or water.
Yeah. I mean, just like, what is it? It's neglect, right? So it's not like he was out there doing a Michael Vick thing where he's trying to fight dogs or anything. It was just like he put him outside and then was just like, I don't have dogs anymore. Like, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Obviously, the dogs are taken away, and he's going to face some sort of fines, right? Like, that's all that's going to come out of that. He's going to have some fines. He's not going to be allowed to have dogs.
Well, they had one of the pit bulls had to be euthanized.
So yeah, I mean,
he had moved. He had moved.
He moved?
Yeah.
Oh, so he really did just put him out there.
Witnesses told police Buggs had recently moved from the house. Both dogs were seized. Like, he left them there. Just like, hey, gotta go, guys. Bye.
That's so weird.
Actually, the lawyer's like, hey, he doesn't condone the mistreatment of animals.
He doesn't condone it.
See, here it goes. The dogs at issue did not belong to him, and he was unaware they remained at the property in question.
Oh, well, I mean, then that's not on him at all.
Well, that's what the lawyer is saying.
Yeah, I mean, like, if they're not your dogs and you leave, I'm assuming this was someone else's house then that he just left.
Well, no, it was his house. Somebody else left the dogs there.
So what, he put him out back and was like, come get your dogs, I'm leaving?
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really say. Yeah, because this story goes into, hey, because he's on the Chiefs right now, and it's like, hey, you know who else is in trouble? Ray Rice, or whatever.
Rashid Rice, yeah.
Rashid Rice. So,
yeah,
is that true? You guys got Dan Bilsma for the Kraken coach?
Yep.
Jessica Campbell. I'm not sure who she is in grand scheme of things, but Dan. I mean, his claim to fame was he took the Penguins to a championship during a time when I could have taken the Penguins to a championship. So I don't think he's a very good coach at all. But hey, listen, that's we're going to find out if he's any good of a coach. I will tell you, he is better than Hackstall.
Wow, that was going to be my next question. I was like, which one would you have rather had?
I probably would have rather had Dan, but I'm not a fan of him.
See, that's one you got to put up. Sounds like I don't know, the money left my account shit. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we talking about the dogs, I assume.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds oddly familiar to. So I didn't notice 40 million leaving my account.
Somebody was Robinson and said, I don't understand that there's a business involved with some of this and blah, blah, blah. Said in the statement that Bugs was arrested at his hookah lounge on misdemeanor charges on 2 separate occasions in the past 2 months.
Oh, so I mean, this dude's just kind of a problem too. I mean, that's not going to help his case out. I mean, obviously, it's on the prosecution to try and show intent, right? Like if they were someone else's dogs, and you know,
but he's arrested on misdemeanor charges at his hookah lounge. So probably with arguing, probably putting his hands on somebody. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
I'm sure he was
get out
doing,
of my lounge.
yeah.
That's probably what occurred there, and that's what I would think as a misdemeanor charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe intoxication of some sort, and that they were, that Tuscaloosa was threatening to out all of the charges that he's had if he didn't turn himself in. So very very odd. The police are doing some weirdo stuff lately. I still am interested, and I haven't heard anything about it, but what's happening with Valhalla? What's happening in Lexington, in Louisville, Kentucky? I want to know what's going on with that court case because they were supposed to continue it, and then I think the lawyer did continue it, but the DA is like going to war. He's about to go to war. Like, I'm going to make myself on this case. So, and the PGA is like, yeah, we're never going back here again. We may have signed a contract to come back. Guess what? Bye. We ain't doing it no more. So they Valhalla lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to imagine it costs some money to do that type of stuff.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
But so be it. So be it. But we'll find out more about that later on. I guess. Let's see what else has been happening. So here's my question for you, and I'll bring Robert into this mix. For the Phillies, just right now they are sitting at what is it? The quarter points or a third of the way through the season.
Yep.
And on Sports Talk Radio, as I was driving home, they were talking about who we thought, they were asking the people who we thought was the MVP of the season so far. The Mariners are in first place in their division, probably very close to that 54 game mark, if not already past it. Probably right on it, in fact. Who would you say, and Robert, who would you say is the MVP of your Seattle Mariners?
That's a good question.
And by the way, just so I know that the moment that we started talking about J-Rod, he started hitting lots of home runs, and he's been on a little bit of a tear, by the way, which you knew was coming.
He listens to the show.
Yeah, you knew it was coming.
It's going to be one of our pitchers, right? Like it's, yeah, I could get behind that, Rob. I could see Kirby.
So you're saying Kirby. So I'm going to try to find out who Kirby is since, I mean, I'm sure I can find out exactly who Kirby is. And we'll see that if he is worthy of. Actually, you guys are a couple games past. 54 games is the third, right? Say 162.
Yeah. Yep.
So there we go.
Yeah, we're a little over, a couple games over.
And you're saying that it is Kirby. So Kirby is 4-5 with a 4.08 ERA.
Oh, is it that high? I'm actually surprised.
68 innings pitched. I mean, Gilbert is better choice right there.
Yeah, I didn't realize his ERA was that high.
Because Kirby's got 65 strikeouts and 6 walks. The walks are really good there, obviously, for that. Where Gilbert's given up 19 walks. Castillo has given up 75 strikeouts and 17 walks, which is probably, I mean, on average, Kirby's the better one because he's got 65 Ks, 6 walks. Only giving up 31 earned runs and 64 hits and 68 and a third innings. When he strikes me out 10 times, you think he's going to strike me out 10 times? I doubt it. I doubt it, Rob. He's not striking me out at all. That being said, I mean, out of all the things that I could say, I mean, obviously, you were saying that J-Rod was not the guy doing his thing, obviously, that he was having a hard time. Rojas hasn't played enough. I mean, J-Rod would still be about the guy because he's really been the one that's been the most productive. He's second on the team in runs scored. Second on the team in RBI. I mean, I guess the other guy who could possibly be it is, of course, Raleigh, who's gotten 11 home runs, 205 batting average.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, J-Rod, his batting average has definitely started coming up.
Right. Out of 36 hits with Raleigh, he's got 15 of them are extra base hits and 11 home runs. So he's got 4 doubles so 15 out of 36. So just under 50% of his hits. The problem is that the fact that he's only got 36 hits out of 176 at bats.
Yeah.
Where J-Rod is the only one that's got over 200 at bats already. And he's at 231 at bats with a 2.68 ERA. He's been hitting home runs lately, but he's got 62 hits, 4 home runs, 5 doubles, 23 runs, 21 RBIs. He struck out 68 times, 14 stolen bases, and has taken 12 walks. Seems like he could be more patient at the plate.
Well, that's always the case with guys that are trying to yank the ball out, though, is their strikeout numbers are always high.
Right. Well, I got to imagine exactly. Raleigh has got more because he's got 71.
Yep.
But he's got 71 out of 176 at bats, where J-Rod has got 68 in 231 at bats.
Yep.
So literally, if you take out the strikeouts, Raleigh has gotten only 100 at bats, to which he's hitting 36 times. Those 76 strikeouts make a lot. Like, I mean, literally, it's huge. That's a lot.
It's huge.
So I would still have to say J-Rod is still your guy at the moment.
Yeah.
Hasn't taken a day off. Hasn't done anything yet.
Yep.
The M's are leading in strikeouts.
Yeah, they have a tendency to do that. Them and the Yankees. They both those teams like to strike out a lot.
I'm going to find out. There we go. Let's see. They have 582 strikeouts. Yeah, StatMuse went right away. It was like, yep. Mariners, they suck.
Yep.
Then it's the Athletics, the Red Sox, the Pirates, the Rockies, the Reds, the Rays, the Cubs, the Brewers, the Tigers, Dodgers. Wow, they Angels, the Twins,
The
the
Yankees
Braves.
are outside of the top 5. That is amazing to me. That's a team
Actually,
that
I
likes
still
to
haven't gotten to the Yankees yet. The Phillies are out of that's another one that's a big one. 471. Then it's the White Sox, Cardinals, Mets, Giants, Nationals, Yankees, Orioles, and Marlins.
Wow. That is surprising.
And then below them is nope. The Diamondbacks, Texas Rangers, and whoever's left. They have less.
Hmm.
So the fact that you've got that many strikeouts, you guys are ahead of that by 27.
Yeah.
And you have a
Yeah.
total of 120 more than the Phillies, 123 more than the Phillies. So the fact that you have that many, and just to give you an idea, in the top 10,
I mean,
what is it?
it's not a shock, though, when you look at the batting averages of the team and the lack of run production. Strikeouts make a lot of sense because you're not even accidentally getting on base, right? They're not making good contact.
Well, and you guys have had under 1,900 at bats.
Well, yeah, you get out of the innings early if you strike out.
Yeah, a lot. But as I'm looking, I'm just like, okay, yeah, that there's like, and for instance, the Phillies have 1,938 at bats. The Braves have 1,838 at bats, and are leading us by 8 strikeouts. So that's actually better for the Philly in
Yep.
terms of that. And I'm trying to see the strikeouts per 9, if that's the case.
Yeah, except for his batting average. They're a 200 batting average is tough to say that's your MVP.
Yeah,
Which is still
and
why I think it would have ended up being a pitcher, although the numbers don't look as good as what the eye test would have made you think, right? Because when you're watching the pitching, you feel pretty good about it, but the numbers are a little bit higher than I thought they would have been.
yeah, and who's got the most walks in the league? Just who you would think they would be. The top 3 teams in the league, Phillies. It's actually the Yankees have the most. Dodgers at second most, with Phillies at third.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
that
kinda
actually kind
wild.
of makes sense because they're probably dodging a couple of people.
Right.
Like, I
So,
would imagine Judge gets a fair amount of intentional walks. I'm sure Ohtani is getting quite a few of those.
but just so that you know, and I guess this is Rob's point here. You guys strike out on average like 10.1 strikeouts a game.
Yeah.
594 strikeouts in 58 games is PU.
Yeah, no, it's rough. It's rough. Like, they need to figure out how to at least make contact with the ball. Maybe they're still outs, right? But, I mean, you can't have the catcher picking that ball up. You got to at least put the thing in play. It's why the run production is what it is, right? Because, I mean, if you make contact, you can at least, even if you're hitting it at somebody, you can at least hope that maybe there's an error or something, right? But if you're just striking out, there's nothing, like, you don't even have a shot. The only thing you can kind of hope for at that point is, hey, maybe the catcher drops strike 3 and you could steal first.
So, Robert, just so that you know, it's 28.6% is his strikeout percentage. And realistically, and this is something that's one of those new stats that everybody says, uh, you should be your strikeout percentage if for a power hitter or a big hitter should be around your batting average. So he's not far off. I mean, he's 268. It's 286.
Yeah.
So it's not that he's that far off. Uh, in retrospect, you know what I mean? If we
Yeah.
wanted to go uh, 71 divided by 176, uh, Raleigh is batting 400 on strikeouts. You know, he's got a 403 to 201 is a big difference. That's a big disparity.
No doubt.
So,
Yeah. And yes, Rob, that was one of the things that they supposedly were targeting, was to have some better bats that did not work out. It's why I wasn't enthusiastic coming into the season. Is we dropped guys, and then we didn't really do anything that I thought made us better. Now, obviously, the pitching is doing its job, and so we're leading our division. They're over 500. It's awesome, but I still have major concerns with the fact that the things that we needed to have happen didn't happen in the offseason. So it's why I'm still a little bit, not on the we're going to kill it bandwagon, because there's some very real holes in this team.
well, but you're third of the way through. You are in first place and still winning games.
Exactly. I'm not mad at it. I love the fact that they're winning. It doesn't feel like a playoff team.
Well,
you got to be able to get runs across the plate.
I will tell you this. I find that you're going to wind up at the moment right now. You'd be in the third position, so you would wind up having the mini home series. And having that mini home series and then going to a team that has just had those 4 days off gives you one of those special opportunities. So I would not be surprised, because at the moment you would probably be going to play Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, if you win the series, obviously. So, I mean,
Course.
you'd have to do that first and foremost. But the fact that you'd get it at home is helpful.
For sure.
And the fact that you guys seem to win games right now by low scores, also helpful.
Well, yeah, that's where the pitching comes in, right? Like,
of course,
the pitching is good. They can keep the score down, which, they have to do. Because, I mean, it's like the Panthers Rangers series, right? Like, if you can keep it below 3, we got a shot. If you score more than that, it's probably a wrap.
Right.
And yes, I hope you're right, Rob. I hope they are buyers this time around, and I do hope that they can pick up a bat. There's not a lot through Mariner history that makes me think they're going to do it, but that is what I hope to see.
Well, I don't know that they're going to have that as well. Like, obviously, this year specifically, there's not many monster bats out there.
No, that's true. That's true. In fact, I mean, batting averages across the league aren't amazing.
And it makes me wonder, like, teams that could possibly turn into sellers that would be considered buyers right now. Like, that's a good question that you'd have to look at. Actually, you have to look at, see who's in the mix and who's not in the mix throughout the entire league.
Yeah, let's see. Where is everybody at? Because that would be interesting to see.
So, like, looking at the National League, the only team that I see right now who could turn out to be sellers that are buyers right at the moment are the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves have a good team. However, they lost their starting pitcher all season. Now they lost their best fielder all season.
True.
Had they done one or the other, I think that they could have probably made it through. Both is a killer.
I mean, I could see the Cubbies going that route too. They're on kind of a weird slide. They seem like they're just out of sorts. If they were to continue to fall off, I could see them going from a buyer to a seller. I don't know if they have anybody that they could sell really, but that's definitely a team that could end up going that route, just because the gameplay over the last 10 games has really been, we'll say, subpar.
Got you. Maybe the Rangers, even though they're on their World Series tour, so to speak, I could see them possibly becoming sellers. The Tampa Bay Rays are also a really interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, they are stand pat gay team. They're the team that stands pat,
Yep.
or is a slight seller. This year, I'd be willing to bet that they actually retool their AAA and AA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their minor leagues. They start to retool their minor leagues to bring them up. That's the one thing about Tampa Bay is that for some reason or another, since they've gotten in the league, they've actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
The fact that they're under 500 here as part of in that East, which is a big deal. I mean, as of right now, you've got they're tied with the Red Sox, and what is it? A game above the Blue Jays? Yeah, game above the Blue Jays.
Two games up
From the Blue Jays?
Well, a game technically,
right?
Because they played two more.
So, I mean, that being said, they're the one team I think that could possibly be sellers that you wouldn't expect them. You didn't expect them to be sellers after the season they had last year.
Mm-hmm.
Rangers, same situation. The Blue Jays, is it time for them to blow it up?
I really expected them to be playing better baseball than they are. They're still so close, in that wild card mix that I think that's a team that could kind of go either way on if they wanted to try and add something, make one last push. But I mean, if they keep playing the way they have been, you might as well blow it up.
Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday. I think you mentioned it yesterday, actually. Toronto, I could understand selling bats. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's probably right up Toronto's alley at the moment. To trade Burr. I don't even know who Burr is. So.
Already gone.
Yeah.
Don't even know who he is.
Exactly. So now I got to type it up just to see if I know who you're talking about.
Ryan Burr.
Oh, the Ryan Burr
relief.
for the Phillies. Oh, he's AAA guy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they didn't want to hold the contract. That's what that is. Obviously he wasn't even up here, so he went right to AAA. Right now the Blue Jays need all the help they can get. That's what I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to get back in the mix, they're going to, they're going to have to really start winning some games right now.
Yes, seeing that they're at the third. Truth of the matter is that really it's the All-Star break that makes that you get the biggest splash in. And how far away are we from that still? You've got
a month.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay.
6 weeks away. So figure out of those 6 weeks, you're playing 32 games.
Yeah, seems about right.
got some time. You got some time to get it back in.
Yep.
You'll be just over the halfway point. Time to as they say, shit or get off the pot.
Pretty much. That All-Star game, that is really where I'll have a trained eye on the Mariners, is how they play coming out of that game. Solely because historically they come out and just absolutely suck for 3 weeks. I don't know what it is about the All-Star break, but for whatever reason, they come out of it and just do not play good baseball. And if they are going to win this division, they have to make sure that's not the case this time around.
Gotcha. Why does everybody want to call me when I'm sitting here doing a podcast? I don't understand. I don't
It's
get
the same
it.
time every day, too. That's the thing that's funny is
Yeah.
that's how I started. That's how I started the show. I was trying to look something up, and then it kept phone call coming in, wiping my screen. I was like, get out of here.
Do I think Philly will buy, sell, or hold? I mean, we're going to be buyers if anything.
Yeah,
I mean, I suspect that they are going to be in the market for a real closer. That's like Hoffman has had a great season so far, and it's that's okay. You know what I mean? I like him being our seventh inning guy. The seventh inning guy is just about the time when you're going through the three, 2, 3, and 4 hitter. That's about where you're going through that. So I want him in the seventh inning. I could do with Alvarado in the eighth inning, and I think we need a real closer. That's where I think that if he can keep it up, that guy from the Athletics or the A's.
I mean, you have to think both those teams you have to think that the A's are going to be sellers.
Well, I think they're going to be sellers, and obviously, I think that he's going to command a lot. It's like they're going to want something worthwhile in return there.
Oh,
because,
for sure.
They have to get something to get the people to from Sacramento to want to go see them play.
There's no doubt.
They got to fill up that 18,000 person stadium.
That is not going to happen.
Actually, I think Sacramento people will probably come out and watch them. 18,000 people will be.
They'll come watch half a dozen games, and then it'll dwindle down to 8,000.
It depends on how they do. If they actually start off like they did this year, they might even come out for longer. And who knows? If it may be with somebody more than like 6 people cheering for them, they may actually play better. Who knows?
Yeah.
I wonder if if the A's could beat the Savannah Bananas.
I'm not convinced. I feel like that's a series that could go either way.
How many blown saves does he have? Because I got a bat. I know that you said you dump closers easily. So I have a bat.
They do ship closers out of town without really wanting anything in return for some reason.
All right, perfect. I've got a bat that you could absolutely have.
I mean, we need them. Because behind J-Rod, your next best batting average is like a 230?
No, somebody's actually batting a little bit better than J-Rod.
But they don't have any at-bats is the problem.
Well, they've got 170 at-bats.
Oh, okay. So I missed that.
So, yeah, or maybe it's only 140 at-bats. But either way, it's like he's gotten some at-bats.
Okay,
and to be at 280 is not bad. You know what I mean? Like,
No, that's not bad.
So, well, anyways, While we're figuring out how to dismantle the team that's in first place in the AL West, we're going to go and do our station identification. So we'll be back in just a few moments after these important messages. I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, from Brooklyn. Hey, get us any.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sometimes, all you need to change your life is a sign. A sign that says, "Hank, this is the place you've been looking for." And sometimes that sign is an actual sign that's mounted to a building. One second, I'm looking at a sign. I know what you're thinking, and no, I don't love V-dubs just because I'm a buffalo with wings. Frankly, that's offensive and reductionist. Cause this place, come on. It's like they took beer and made it into a place and then gave that place sports and chicken wings. And the people, Cuba, the best. Oh! What the is going on, Marty? This isn't a game, this is trivia! Yeah, this place is kind of like heaven. You know, without needing to get hit by a bus. Let's go, sports bar!
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or a Team AmVets thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team!
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And we're back for the second hour of Coast to Coast.
The funniest part of that commercial, the Wild Wings one, is the "What the fuck is going on, Marty?"
Exactly.
Makes me laugh every time.
And obviously, they don't have a buffalo in there while they're doing that. So that guy Marty is just sitting there looking at a CGI bull.
Yep.
Why he's looking down and not up at him.
Yep. It's somebody in a green suit at best, if there's anyone at all.
Yeah, I don't even think that there's there probably is somebody.
There probably is for markers.
Yeah, just so not only that, but just to be able to show him in that green suit, whatever.
Exactly.
So there's probably actually a big green screen over there that that Marty had to look at or something like that. But yes. So it might be time to change up that commercial to another commercial of theirs if they're going to sponsor us. If they're not going to sponsor us, I could just change it up to something else.
That's right. All of a sudden it's Wingstop or although I don't particularly like their sauces, so
what, Wingstop?
Yeah.
I've not had a Wingstop. To be honest, maybe we just go right to the nitty gritty. Go Hooters.
We don't even have them anymore.
Why not?
They went out of business here in probably 12 years ago now. 12, 15 years ago. Just for whatever reason, all of them that we had here in the Seattle area all went away.
I guess too many people were getting pregnant. That's usually the thing. It's like you go to a Hooters and you feel like you go to Hooters for a very specific reason, but you go to Hooters and you always find a waitress that's pregnant.
That's true.
I guess Hooters girls get it a lot.
I mean,
all the time.
They do have a specific hiring requirement.
They do. This is another thing that kind of surprised me. Did you realize that there was still Snapple?
I mean, I knew it still existed. Yeah.
I didn't. I thought it was gone.
Oh, funny. Yeah, they got rid of the glass bottles, though.
Yeah, it's like, made
yeah,
from the best stuff on earth.
You had the lid that you could annoy people with.
Right. But they're no longer made from the best stuff on earth.
I mean, were they ever really?
They never were really, but that's beside the point. I guess somebody said, I don't think you are made by the best stuff on earth, and we're going to sue you for false advertising. I'd be willing to bet that's actually occurred. That's why you see them much, much less.
That could be a very real thing, yeah.
Did I want a done fact? Did you knew Snapple started out making soda long before tea? What I do know is that you need to take spelling lessons there, Robert, or typing lessons, one or the other.
So it gets us all. I remember I jumped in on one of your guys' shows the other day, it was a couple weeks ago. And as soon as I hit send, I was like, well, that's not going to come across quite the way I meant it.
Yeah. I understand that. I have big fingers, so it's like when I'm texting, that happens constantly. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's very frustrating because I'll push a button and it could be any one of 6 buttons that get pushed in that. So
sometimes predictive text is kind of fun though. Sometimes it'll write the most ridiculous thing. I'll see it and then I'll still send it anyway. It's like, you know what? That's kind of funny.
Ding, 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 ding. I understand. Not that I don't get the luxury of being able to do that most of the time because I say something that somebody doesn't understand. Next thing you know, I'm like,
it's a problem. Yeah.
So it's always a little bit of an issue of some sort or another.
Well, it also depends on who it is you're sending it to, right? Like if I'm just going to give you and Mac and Sonia a hard time, if it comes through wrong, I'm like, meh. But like if it's an important conversation, I'll probably read it before I hit send. And yeah, Rob, not hooked on phonics, hooked on chronic, right? Welcome to the Northwest.
And let's see, everything. So the for all you soccer fans, I guess the Champions League is set. They're getting ready to start that, and that's an 8-minute read. I ain't reading that.
Yeah. And that read is still more time than I would actually watch the sport. So there's that. Just not a soccer person.
I don't mind. Oh, that's so funny. I don't mind them. I don't mind soccer. Soccer is great for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, at the most. You know what I mean? It doesn't stop. Obviously the play might stop because somebody's crying about the fact that you touched their toe.
Yeah, but the clock still runs.
Right, exactly.
But then you have extended time
Yeah, but the extended time is never too much. And actually, the most happens during that extended time.
True.
You know, unless
there's incentive.
you're up by a lot. You know what I mean? Like if you're up by 2 goals, you're just like, oh, ho hum. Yeah, I gotta, ouch, ouch. That guy hurt me. He's
now
all the way over there, but he hurt me.
It's the flopping and crying that kills the sport for me. And then you get to the end and it ends in a tie, and I'm just like, what? Why did I just waste 3 hours of my life?
Well, lately that's the Union, but you're not wasting 3 hours. You're wasting 2. Now, it may take time for you to get there, and if you right now with the way they're doing all the construction around Subaru Park for the Union, it'll take you longer to get out of the game and get home from traffic there than it will to watch the game.
Yeah,
So
in and out of Seattle is always a problem. Like they've found a way to make Seattle very hard to get around in.
So you walk. It's probably faster to walk.
Yeah, no, that's totally where you take a bus in or you take the light rail, and because it drops down right at the stadiums, and then you walk everywhere, because getting in and out during, right before or right after game time is such a hassle.
Well, I'm surprised we missed this yesterday. Did I just see that right? Report: Dolphins sign Waddle to a 3-year, $84.75 million extension.
Yep.
It's a lot of money.
It's a ton. It's a ton. So that there makes you look at CD and Jefferson, Chase. Like those guys are those contracts are gonna be no joke.
Yeah, and it's got $76 million guaranteed in that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money guaranteed. They spend a lot of money on receivers.
Yep. They're really banking on Tua being healthy again this year.
So the average is 28.25, and Tyreek is an average of 30. So between those two, they got close to $60 million.
Crazy.
So the Eagles, they have 2 receivers earning over $20 million. So, I mean, obviously,
not too far off.
Wide receivers have taken up the money that was going to running backs for a while.
Oh, no question. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's becoming that bigger deal. And, I can imagine that it's only going to get, the next one who's possibly goes up, I think, is tight ends. Those numbers are going to start to skyrocket some, because obviously you do have like your top tier, and I would consider the top tier being, I guess you got to go Kelsey. Then you'd have to go, what's his face from the 49ers?
Kittle.
Yeah. Then you could go, you could go Hawkinson, you can go Dallas Goedert. They kind of fall into that mix, but I don't put them at the same level as those first 2 guys. I guess you could go the guy from Atlanta. What's his face? Man, it's going to bother me some. He's also a really good tight end. Pitts.
Oh,
Kyle
yeah.
Pitts.
Yeah. Yep.
Mark Andrews, same situation with like Hawkinson and Dallas Goedert. I put him in that category. Those 3, but you're going to start to see the tight end become a lot more. I think start to get paid a little bit more as well.
Because they're essentially receivers at this point. So
receivers that could also block, because they're half receiver, they're half fullback. That's really what
basically
it is. That's what happens when you're getting thrown into, I'm gonna go run down the line, and then I'm gonna turn right here and go block somebody, because that's what you need me to do in the first place. So
yeah, no, I think their money does start to creep up. I can't imagine that the running back money goes down anywhere. Like, you can't hardly pay them less than they are now.
So and here's the other thing that I'm going to talk about with football real fast. The Bears got anointed the next team to be the Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
Now,
but that's like the preseason one, right?
no, the preseason Hard Knocks is the Giants.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So this is going to be the Bears get the Hard Knocks. And I mean,
That might
obviously,
actually be interesting.
oh, I got to imagine it's going to be a train wreck.
Exactly.
Especially when we find out exactly how bad it is for Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Well, and you got a lame duck coach, a system that's probably not going to be there next year. Like this seems like prime Hard Knocks disaster TV. So it's probably a good selection.
Yeah. Well, we will see. So I think it's going to be a mess and a half and must-watch television.
Absolutely. No,
For everybody else, I don't have HBO, so I'm not going to watch it. Not even a little bit.
Yeah. I might have to borrow my buddies because I don't have it either. Be like, hey, man, let me log in for a minute.
And yeah, that was about it. Yeah, there's nothing really spectacular happening in sports beyond the fact that,
You think they're going to do a late season Hard Knocks again this year?
I guess it'll depend on how much money they want to spend.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because you want a late season. Like what? I'm going to get on a team that's going to go to the playoffs? Is that what the goal would be of that?
No, because when they did it before, it was Arizona, and I think they did it once with the Colts, right? So neither one of those teams were really in any danger of doing anything in the playoffs or getting to the playoffs. So
I definitely do not put Schultz in that list. He has too many drops and is not good at blocking at all.
Yeah.
I also would put Pitts. Yeah, Pitts definitely. Goddard definitely. And Hawkinson definitely.
Yes.
Those are the three tight ends.
Be in there.
Yeah, those are the three tight ends that I would put in the 1B.
Yeah, the borderline top tier.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Schultz isn't getting anywhere near there. Because there's other ones that I could think of that, I think of the guy who plays for the Giants, that if he could stay healthy, he would be up there. Waller.
Oh, yeah.
He would be great if he could just stay healthy, but he doesn't. I'm trying to think of who else there is out in the league, because I don't even know I don't know all the names is the problem.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely tier B would be the guy from the Saints who also plays quarterback. He's a tight end, and he was very good for fantasy football, but he's not very good tight end. He's an okay tight end, but he's more versatile as the running back / quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he does what he does very well.
No, Ingram. Hey, listen, there's a reason why the Giants got rid of Ingram is because he played for the Eagles every time we played them. Ingram was great at dropping a ball into an Eagles defender's hand.
The guy, if I were to pick up a tight end for like fantasy or something as your second tight end, maybe something like that, is I'm very curious what Noah Fant is going to look like now that we have an offense that sounds like it'll use a tight end.
Got you.
So that's one of those where you could get him for nothing in a late round, and sounds like he's going to have a bigger role than he's had.
You're saying like a dark horse tight end.
Pickup. Yeah, exactly.
Like after most of the tight ends are gone, like you could probably get like a Noah Fant in like the ninth or 10th round.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I could maybe see that. You know, especially like I says, as long as you're not picking, as long as the computer's not picking for you, and that you get a whole bunch of tight ends, and you get effed in your tight end.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then that's going to be the only guy left on the board.
Just about. Who's the tight end over in Cleveland? I would also think that guy should be pretty good, even though I have no clue who he is.
Let me look, because I don't remember offhand.
Yeah, me neither.
Njoku. David Njoku. Yep.
Yeah, he's actually not so bad, but he's definitely good. Can Hard Knocks give us a good team? No, because no good team wants the distraction of having that around.
Exactly. Yeah, any team that is really in contention to win, they immediately tell them no.
So I've only watched a couple of videos about it. And obviously, everybody came out because it was just like, he threw at him close once, then threw back at him as close again, and then was just like, sorry, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, yeah, you need to get punched in the face. That's you definitely need to get punched in the face there. So I ain't got nothing to say about it. You know what I mean? That's part of baseball a little bit. You know what I mean? If you're going to throw at somebody's face, you better believe that somebody's going to throw back at your guy's face.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Let's go ahead hunting. Let me tell you, we've got better pitching staff right now. You know, we won't miss.
Yeah.
So,
plus you'll end up with a couple of those batters that are decent at placing a ball and try and blast that pitcher.
Well, not only that, I wouldn't want to hit him in the head. I'd throw 100 miles an hour right at his chest.
Sure.
Let's guess what, buddy? Let's see how some bruised ribs feel.
Yep.
So
yeah, all of a sudden that swing just isn't quite the same.
Yeah. That's a little. That still
Tender.
hurts a little bit. Yeah, it's a little on the tender side. That's a good way of putting it. That's what I would do. So yeah, you want to throw at our head? I don't need to throw at your head. Your body is going to work just fine. You know, maybe go after your knee. That's a good spot to have the ball hit. Real good spot, and not one that you can get out of the way real easy either when you're in your stance. So
No. If you got one coming in at your knee or your shin, something like that, you're probably getting hit by it.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. I'd be like, all right, guess what? Let's see how that feels when you get up in your stance and you're trying to run a little bit and you got that contusion on your knee.
Yep. Yeah,
swollen that up a little bit.
Even if you get one of them out of the way, the odds of you getting both legs out of the way is pretty low.
Yeah, and like it's one of those ones that leaves the stitch mark.
Yep.
That's the policing of baseball. So I would absolutely I'm a big proponent of that. Like, hey, listen, let these guys do it themselves. So no, I didn't care about the fact that they all came out and started talking to each other. You know, wah.
Yeah.
You guys are losing. You guys suck this year. Yeah, you know, we kicked your ass back in Philly, and you guys won the first two games by luck. Yeah, because you had one umpire cheat for you. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, the Mets are a dumpster fire right now. They did take 1 of 3. Actually, they should have taken 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. They blew one game, literally in the, it was like the 9th inning. I'm like, damn, all you had to do was score a run and you blew it. You know, bases loaded, 1 out, and they couldn't even get you just get a pop fly. So they didn't. They blew it. But that's the one thing you could be sure about the Mets. They will Mets it up.
One of the things that's funny on the MLB side is there's been a few umps that have come out and they're like, oh, yeah, you may not want to admit it, but Angel was actually really good at his job. Maybe once upon a time that was true, but it hasn't been the case for the last decade.
That's what the referees were saying, or the umpires were saying.
Yeah. That you may not agree, but he was really good at his job. And it's like,
yeah,
no?
Nope. There's way too many times when it was just bad.
Oh yeah.
In his career, he's got over 20% wrong calls.
Yeah, like that's ridiculous.
The average in Major League Baseball is somewhere around 14%.
Yeah, that seems acceptable, right?
Actually, it should be under 14%. It should be around 10%. That's what I would say.
That's a palatable number, right? Like it's annoying, but you can get through it. When you're 20+%, I mean, what are we doing? Like you could have one of the guys behind home plate sitting in the stands call it.
Well, or you could have this computer call it now. That's what's going to probably occur.
It's coming.
So I can't wait because then, like I said, it takes out all the human error. Just like, okay, this is what it is. But then the box has got to change per person. So we'll see how that works. That's going to be the biggest hard part of trying to do that.
Getting the strike zone right. I mean, I feel like they do a pretty decent job of it. Just for the broadcast, I mean, I feel like they get pretty close.
True.
I would imagine what they're going to use is going to be a little more sophisticated than what we see on TV, but
is it?
You would hope so, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like if it's coming down to it, like if it's going to decide games, I'd like to think that they would invest a little more into it. I mean, they're going to save some money, right? Because they're probably not going to increase the wages of any of the umps now that they're going to take responsibilities away. So maybe they can kick an extra couple dollars into equipment.
Maybe. You would think so. I also like the fact that the way that these things work is that if the ball just slices the line in the smallest capacity, that's a strike.
Yeah. I mean, it might be if they're 17 inches wide, but really you have like 22, 23 inches because you only got to brush the plate.
Right. Yeah, she doesn't get to go to the White House because she didn't play on the team. Yeah, there was no. Hey, listen, Taylor, you're going to be our 54th man on the roster. No, she didn't play on the team. She doesn't get to go to the White House.
Yeah,
sorry.
Kelsey
no
doesn't
ring
get
for her.
One.
No. Kelsey was like, as he goes to, he goes up on his my fellow Americans. They're like, yeah, no, get away from that.
Yes.
I tell you, he is a mess and a half.
He seems like it.
Yeah, it's just like I God bless him that he's getting all of the opportunities right now that he is, because I feel like he's just one or two wrong words away from being canceled.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, he's going to be right on the cancel culture spot very soon, I think.
I mean, to be fair, I think we're all one or two words away from that affecting us.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. At least, I mean, the one thing.
He has more cameras on him, though.
Well, truth of the matter is those two words that he's going to say is break up, and then he will be put on blast. That's all you got to do. He's like, oh, No more. Break up. He'll lose all those Swifties. Yeah, and they come loaded for bear. They will destroy. I love, although I did love the fact that all these Swifties were like talking about him and how he was famous now because of her.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
So, like, hold on, nobody knew about her in NFL.
Had nothing to do with him being the top tight end in the game.
Or
That
the
wasn't
best,
a factor.
or one of the best new podcasters in the world.
Exactly.
None of that. Oh yeah, it will be Swift. I no doubt about it. Like, but on bum, his downfall will be Swift. I
Yep.
get it. That's kind of funny. So I don't know, Bo. What else you want to talk about? It's Friday. It's after Memorial Day, so now it's the unofficial start of summer.
Yep.
What do you got going on this weekend? Let's maybe do that.
It's in fact tonight is going to be it's going to be a train wreck. So so last week was my wife's birthday, right? And so tonight is the go do dumb shit kind of night, right? So we're going to be she's going to meet up with a bunch of the girls or her late birthday party type thing. And so us as the
you're
guys
invited?
Well, so kind of basically what's going to happen is us guys, we're going to get together and we're going to probably drink beer at the same bar from probably like across the bar, right? Just so that we can kind of keep tabs on the level of dumb that's going to happen. Because the last thing we want to do is then have them in a situation where then we have to go and get them.
Why do they put themselves in that situation all the time, or is it?
No, just not all the time for sure. But it feels like that kind of evening that's going to happen. So we're probably gonna do a little babysitting.
Understood. Now, are all the girls married?
Yeah. So
right.
we won't have to worry about that end of it. It'll just be them being drunk and obnoxious is potentially causing problems. So
okay. I mean, that's acceptable. I could deal with that. Like, hey, listen, sometimes you got to babysit your wife. You know what I mean? That's okay.
Yeah. No, like that's why I said it's just going to be some ridiculousness, like nothing bad. Just we're going to sit across the bar and make fun of them getting hammered. That's really what's going to happen. And then once they, get to where it is, we're like, okay, time to go.
Look at it. It's only 8:30. Yeah, but you're wasted.
Right. So, yeah. No, it should be fun, though. Should be fun. And then, the rest of the weekend is just getting stuff done, hoping to finally finish my office, stuff like that. What about you? What are you up to?
So tonight is a Phillies game, and it's the City Connect night. But I also we are going to be filming our part 2 of food at the ballpark, segments. So I'm going to be going around the ballpark and eating some food, which I don't typically do, but that's going to happen. And then tomorrow is if you are in Pennsylvania, it is Delco Day, and Delco Day is normally the 10th of June, 6/10.
Okay.
But this year we are doing it at 6/1 because the 8th or the 9th wasn't available, and so we're going to be doing that. So I will be painted up and going around to Delco Day, and we do that for the Headstrong Foundation. So it's a charity event kind of situation. And then, of course, there's another Phillies game tomorrow night where it's Saturday night baseball is, I think we're the national game.
Yep.
And then Sunday, I have an appearance down the Jersey Shore at Charlie's Bar, which has been in existence for 80 plus years,
Oh,
or
awesome.
I think they're celebrating their 80th year, and it's 6/2, which is Jason Kelsey Day. So,
Nice.
I will be going to celebrate Jason Kelsey Day with a whole bunch of Eagles fans down in Summers Point, New Jersey.
That'll be fun.
So, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I will be broadcasting live from Cape May.
Yep.
So,
Hell yeah.
whole different scenario, or at least Monday I'll be broadcasting live from Cape May. Tuesday, Wednesday, I might mail it in, depending on how I want to do that.
Rob, you're wrong. I don't want to completely avoid a Coyote Ugly situation. I just want to not encounter the ugly situation. The Coyote Ugly part of it, I think, is a lot of fun, and I am there to watch. As soon as the Coyote part of it ends and it just becomes an ugly situation, that's where we round them up and go home.
Hey, Rob, you better know what a Guido is first before you start to use that line on me. All right, there, buddy.
Well, I'm
now,
sure
you don't want to mess with the Italians, all right? Because I got a guy even up where you're at. All right? So watch your mouth.
So,
right?
so Rob's actually from Jersey.
So, but yeah, so it's gonna be a busy, fun week. Weekends. Once I get done with this show here, obviously I had to film yesterday. Was filming for this political down in Delaware.
I'm not gonna lie, that looked like it was probably a little bit terrible.
Yes, it was a little dry. It was definitely a little dry.
Oh, there we go. My wife jumping in.
There we go. That's awesome. Well, happy belated birthday, Danielle. It's good to see you. Awesome.
It's awesome.
Run the gamut. Make it happen.
Right.
Send pictures. Make him send pictures to me. I want to see some pictures.
In the words of my buddy Scott, here we go.
Let's get going. There we go. So, as I say, you just get warmed up.
That's right. She's probably pre-funking in the other room. What are you talking about? Yep. And yeah, that last one. That's why I said Rob will know exactly.
Hey, listen. You're not just Jersey City to be the Guido. You know what I mean? Some of them people were from New York too. I was from Philly, so
yep,
we weren't Guidos. But I hear you. Freaking Metagons don't know what the hell they're talking about over there. So, and like I said, I still got a guy up there. Even up there, you can't hide. But, anyways. So yeah, Danielle, definitely make something happen. Have him send some pictures. And not just of you, of all the girls. Have all the girls go crazy.
This is gonna be hilarious.
See, this is what. See, here they used to have, and they don't have it anymore. But there was a, I guess like a men's burlesque show. Is that how you do that? That was upstairs, and downstairs used to be the gentleman's club. So
funny.
You send the women up, the men come down, and then right next door there was another bar. So literally you'd be like, oh, the women are going up top there, and then they'd go to the other bar, and then the men would be waiting for the women, and then they would go to the bar next door, and I'm sure certain debauchery would occur.
There's no question about it. It was funny. We went to a burlesque show. We had some friends that were going to be in it, and then randomly,
is it called the Full Monty?
No, but But they did. But no, it was funny because there was a guy that I randomly had worked with that I didn't know was going to be in the show. So he just pops on stage. I'm like, oh.
I'm seeing you in ways I never thought I would see. And actually,
Right? All of a sudden, it was like, we are going to have a very interesting conversation when I see you later this week. Because I see you.
Hey, I really needed the money.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
I can imagine. So it's like but if I had a place like that, I mean, I would love that would probably be a great spot where you would have, the women's club up top, women, I guess the ladies club, the gentlemen's club, and then what I would call the bar next door, I would call the champagne room.
That's essentially what it would be.
That's what I would call it. I would just call it the champagne room. So,
but the only thing you have is Miller Lite.
Yeah, see, you got to do Miller Lite and Michelob Ultra.
Okay, yeah.
You got to do the light or the ultra, one or the other. maybe some White Claws.
Some White Claws.
But
and a Schlitz just for the hell of it.
It's a shame they don't make Schlitz anymore.
Oh, did they finally stop making it?
Well, yeah, I mean, Schlitz has been going for a long time.
I've never purposely bought it.
Well, yeah, I don't think it was even like if anybody did make it, it was now I'm going to check it out. When did Schlitz close? Here, when did Schlitz Brewery close? There we go. 1982.
Oh, okay.
So,
it says defunct here in 99.
That's when the plant closed. I guess somebody bought it.
Pabst had it.
Oh, the Blue Ribbon.
Huh. Look at all of us learning stuff together.
Yeah. And it says that it was in Milwaukee, but what was it? Yeah. I'm trying to think out who was the Philadelphia beer. There was a Philadelphia beer. I thought Schlitz was in Philly as well, but
yeah, see that's the part that worries me. It's not going to be the sexy carry though. It's literally going to be sack of potatoes over my shoulder.
Schmitz, that's what it was. It was Schmitz beer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember that Schmitz because I was their house that they were from Drexel Hill, or they lived in Drexel Hill. There we go. Fireman carry home.
Yep.
That I want a picture of.
Yeah, that 100% will be the over the shoulder, not the let me carry you through the threshold thing. That is the I still got to open a front door and stuff. Wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time.
And how old is Danielle?
44.
44. Oh, hold on. You're younger?
Yeah, by like 9 months, something like that.
Oh, I thought you were like 41, 42. Damn, I was gonna be like, damn, Danielle robbing a cradle over here.
Yeah, no, I'm 43. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So, well, I'll leave that to yourselves. Listen, I only need pictures while you're out, not while you're back home. I don't need pictures of you holding her hair as she's thrown up in the toilet.
Right. It's a coyote, not a cougar.
No, so you go from cougar to jaguar to lynx to what's the last one? I don't know. But you're never the dog. The dog is always a man.
Yeah.
So
That is for sure.
It's like, and I think for a guy, it's like a wolf, and then it's a coyote, and then it's wolf, coyote, fox, and then mangy dog.
But generally just in the dog house and out.
Exactly. That's really the way that goes. So when she gets really drunk, does she snore a lot?
No, but on the plus side, it's the only time she's not Kung Fu Panda while she sleeps. So
Gotcha. So she's one of those
active
movers and shakers.
That's right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Whereas I'm on the other end of that scale where I go to sleep, I die, and really don't move. If I do move, I wake up to move. But yeah. But we have the same bed that every couple has. The guy occupies this much of it, and then she has this much of it, and then is somehow that's not enough bed.
Well, I understand that. I'm one of those guys that also like I sleep on my side.
Yeah,
I'm a side sleeper. Like if I'm sleeping on my back, that means I'm drunk, and that means I am snoring probably louder than anything else because I drank too much.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I try my best not to have to do that, but such is life in the fast lane sometimes.
Yeah, that's where they hit you with a pillow. Like, wake up.
Yeah, I guess so. Sometimes.
Better than them plugging your nose, I guess.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. They do the shake. They're like, "Oh, hey, you're sleeping."
Yeah, I know.
I know. You just woke my ass up. Tell me I was sleeping. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No,
good work.
That one there is the one that always cracks me up. Is if you fall asleep on the couch, they wake you up. They're like, "You're asleep." It's like, I know. Like that. That's fine.
Was I bothering you? Damn. It's like shit. I was
Get up so you can go to bed. It's like I was already sleeping.
Doesn't always work the same, but
no,
I guess it is what it is.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be a fun night though. It's gonna be a fun night.
Well, I wish you guys all the success in the world for this evening. I hope it's a good night, and make sure you do send me the pictures.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be some.
So, but for everybody else, you guys have a great weekend. We're going to end a few minutes early because why the hell not? It's Friday. It's a beautiful day out. It's time to get out of the house and not necessarily watch what we're talking about because we ain't talking about much anyways.
Unless you want to keep watching because we got Hawk Talk in the next hour. So I have to be on screen anyway.
There you go. So there you go. If you stick around with him, I myself am going to have to do some things before I get ready to go to the baseball game tonight. So everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you again on Monday. Take care. Oh, as I go with our outro here, as I almost just clicked the button here. Now go. Now we'll see you later.
That's right.
Have a good one. And happy belated birthday, Danielle. Get wasted, throw up all over him. I can't wait to hear that story.
Preferably not on me. That's a story for Monday, though, because that it didn't happen this time through, but it happened at a friend of ours, and she got the rough end of it. So on Monday, I will tell you that story.
Awesome. Can't wait. Everybody have a great weekend. Take care.